Hello and welcome to the Hot Seat, a sports show. I'm your host, Max Purden, joined by Caleb Sebastian on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Caleb, you should turn my levels up a little bit there. There we go. Yeah, much better. Before we get started, quick disclaimer. All of the opinions expressed by myself or by Caleb or by any of our guests do not necessarily reflect that of Spirit Live or Toronto Metropolitan University. Now that that's out of the way, Caleb, how are you doing today?
Oh, not too bad, Max. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I feel like we got a good show here today. This is the second week of the show. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it the first week. Fans of U Sports women's hockey may have caught me on the broadcast for the TMU Bold facing off against the Ottawa GGs last week. So one more thing before we dive into the show is I'm going to tell everybody our text inbox. I don't expect to get very many texts, but just so it's out there, the number is 647-691-8432. Did you hear that, Caleb?
I did. Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if my levels are showing up.
Yeah. Is your mic even plugged in?
I have no idea.
What is going on? What's wrong with your microphone? How are we supposed to do the show if I have no co-host? You know what? I'll just start talking while you try to figure that out. So we'll start with a news roundup. In NFL news, the New York Jets took down the Houston Texans yesterday by a score of, I believe it was 21-13. Impressive win for the Jets, who, I think a lot of people were starting to lose hope for at this point in the season. They were able to beat a Houston team that was 6-2 going into the week. Hopefully, a Super Bowl contender. Good game for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson fantasy owners rejoice. 2 touchdowns for Garrett Wilson. Caleb still hard at work. You can hear him rumbling around the studio. Elsewhere in the NFL, Puka Nacua leaves practice early this week. Unfortunately, his status for the game against the Seattle Seahawks is in question. So hopefully he is able to recover in time.
All right, do we have levels now?
Yeah, I can hear you. You are now here. Let me play with the camera a little bit so that our viewers can see you. Yep. Camera 1, it looks like we're going to have... Oh, look at that. Okay, hold on. I'm going to keep myself there. We'll throw you there. Okay, yeah, we're working on it. And there we go. Caleb is here.
Nice.
We have a co-host now.
Here.
Yeah. So, Caleb, do you have any news you want to share for our news roundup now that you have finally joined the show?
I do, yeah. You want to just pass me my laptop with all my notes?
Yeah, there you go.
That would be wonderful.
You know what? This is only our second show of the year. We got a lot of runway.
Well, you're first.
My first show of the year. Yeah. I mean, technically, I've been perfect. There's been no issues on my end. It's only the returning host where there's been issues.
Yeah, news roundup. Pretty big baseball game happened the other night. Dodgers won the World Series in 5 games over the New York Yankees. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but from what I can tell, the Dodgers kind of put together the Avengers lineup for this season. So, Max, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought that the World Series matchup was good for MLB on a few fronts. First of all, obviously having your 2 biggest markets face off in the World Series is optimal in terms of viewership. I don't know what the viewership numbers look like. I don't think they're out yet, but that's obviously good for baseball. And second of all, I think it is a really deterring thing for small franchises and lower budget franchises that want to try to, moneyball their way to the top. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I said that I think this is a real wake-up call for teams around the league with lower budgets, that it's just no longer possible to win the World Series on a minimal budget. And so I think for that reason, it's going to be good for all parties. I think fans of small market teams can expect their ownership groups to hopefully step up and spend more. And for players, hopefully that increases player spending from non-traditional markets as well.
A lot of thoughts.
Yeah, sorry, I
Dodgers
kind of
World
rambled there.
Series.
It is the World Series. That is one of the biggest news items of the week, if not by far the biggest. So,
Yeah, skipping on to a smaller news story. You talked a little bit about the Jets and Texans game last night. And maybe in my moving you'd mentioned it and I just didn't hear it, but Malachi Corley, the Jets wide receiver that dropped the ball before reaching the goal line and it went out the back of the end zone and the Texans ended up with the ball. What are we doing?
yeah, it's kind of insane that this is like still a thing that happens in the NFL, especially because it nearly happened last week. Did you see that? Who was it? It was in the Bucks game. It nearly happened last week.
Yeah.
Where a guy fumbled on the
Was it
goal line.
Pitts?
It was Pitts. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, it was Pitts. Like the fact that you can see that and then do the same thing like 4 days later is like ridiculous. How did
Like just hang on to the ball.
Just hold
make
the
sure
ball.
you're in the end zone.
yeah.
And then spike it, throw it in the stands, do whatever. Just get past that white line.
I definitely agree. And it's not even like it looks very cool. It's not even a very cool looking celebration, like dropping the ball.
No.
Like, you could do
and if
something
you
cool
drop
with
it
the ball.
before, you look dumb.
You look very dumb. I certainly agree. I'm going to turn your levels up a little bit. So keep talking about the news.
Okay. Another NFL player that looked dumb this week was Bears cornerback Tyreek Stevenson. Clip went around Twitter and all social media, really, of some random Bears cornerback taunting Commanders fans in the stands. Well, there was one play left. And Max, you know what happened on that play?
I did actually see what happened on that play. Yeah. Let's just say I would not want to be Tyreek Stevenson in Chicago.
Yeah, long week of film review for Tyreek Stevenson. For those of you that don't know, Jaden Daniels threw an absolute bomb of a Hail Mary while Tyreek Stevenson was taunting opposing fans. He then ran over and tipped the ball right into a Commander's receiver's hands for the game-winning touchdown. Not a good look.
Not at all. Not at all. As we transition into our next segment, but before we do that, I have a text from our text
Ooh.
inbox. Once again, the text inbox line is 647-691-8432. This is a text that says, please discuss Keon Coleman dunking on Riq Woolen. Are you familiar with the play?
I am not. No.
Okay.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I can explain it. So it was a goal line situation. Riq Woolen was matched up against Keon Coleman. Josh Allen throws Coleman a fade route. Woolen does a really nice job defending it. A couple plays later, that was first down. Third down, Josh Allen throws another fade, and Coleman makes like a one-handed catch over Woolen and was actually very respectful, tapped his helmet, and presumably said something like, nice rep. So, really not even newsworthy. I should have just ignored this text. But thanks, Julian, for the text in. Now, for the first time that we've done this segment all year, due to the fact that I was not here last week, this is our top 10 list of the week. And the topic that we have chosen for today is the top 10 worst NFL uniforms. How do you want to do this? Should we go back and forth with our 10s? I think we should just present each of our lists
Okay,
one
yeah.
at a time.
Yeah, we can just
you
present.
take it away. You go
Okay.
first.
Okay. I had a tough time with this list because I think there's a lot of good NFL uniforms, especially this year. The Texans ones are looking really nice. Titans always have a really good set. So some of them are individual uniforms that I'm like, this sucks. Some of them are just like the team base uniforms as a whole. So I'll start off with my number 10. That's just going to be the Cleveland Browns base set. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it. It's just hard to have a good looking color or a good looking jersey when your color scheme is brown and orange. I think they're working with what they got. They're doing an okay job of it. It can just be a little bit better. And so for that reason, it's 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys white with the navy blue. I just think it's like they fall into the same category as the Celtics for me. They can't really do too much because of how historic their jerseys and their logo and their brand is. And so I think they just kind of fall victim to having too simple of a design, and I'm just overall not a fan. Number 8, I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That really, really dark brown uniform that they wear like once a year.
Did they still wear those?
I looked up 2024 jerseys. It was on the list, so I marked it down. Not a fan of that. As you can tell, not a fan of brown jerseys in general. I don't know why teams decide to go that route.
Breaking news. DK Metcalf out week 9. Carry on.
Number 7, the LA Rams base set as a whole, just the yellow really throws me off. I don't like the yellow. I prefer the St. Louis Rams color scheme a lot more. I know a lot of people are with me that the Rams jerseys kind of suck. Number 6, Denver Broncos, but specifically when they wear the really like the navy blue helmet. Not a fan of that helmet. I think it looks awful, especially when they wear their orange jerseys. Those two colors just really clash, and not a fan. Number 5, and this pains me, Max. It's the New Orleans Saints all whites with the black helmet.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
If you're gonna wear an all white jersey, don't throw on a coal black helmet to match. That it just offsets all of what you're trying to do. Not a fan. Number 4, the Jets new base set. I think it looks really basic. I think it looks a lot like the Saskatchewan Roughriders jerseys.
Wow.
Which aren't the greatest.
Wow.
Not a fan of that.
Well, you're biased against the Riders as the number 1 BC Lions fan.
Yes, of course. Number 3, the Cardinals base set. Again, just a really basic jersey design. You know, they didn't do anything special with it. And it's not that it's bad. It's just boring. And there's a lot more that are better. Number 2, the Bears striped 1936 jersey.
I like that one.
I hate it.
Okay, wow.
Why is there... Your helmet looks like a candy cane. It's awful.
It's almost Christmas time.
It is. I love Christmas, but not with football. And number 1, the Dirty Birds gradient jersey.
Yeah.
Sucks.
You'll that one will be featured on my list.
Anytime you have a gradient in a jersey, does like the Utah Jazz gradients, awful. The Atlanta Falcons gradients, worst jersey in the league.
I think that you can have cool gradient jerseys. I would point to the Vancouver Canucks original reverse retro as a cool gradient jersey.
Stupid name.
What?
Original reverse retro?
Well, there was 2. It's an oxymoron, but there was 2 reverse retros. There was like the first iteration.
Oh, okay, so
second
reverse
iteration.
retro 1.0.
It was the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry if that was confusing. I'll get to my list. I'll try to run through it a little bit quicker. So 10th worst uniform in the NFL. The Giants throwback uniforms, like with the ones with like the brown.
I think they're
pants.
kind of cool.
Wow. Okay. They're just like such a stupid gimmick. Like, leave those in the 1950s. We don't need to see that. Nobody needs to see that. Number 9. This one is like solely on principle. The Titans throwback Oilers jerseys.
No.
Yeah, but
No,
it's not
those are,
because
like, the
no.
best design
Listen, hear me out.
in the
No,
league.
Listen. It's not because I think they're ugly. It's like more a matter of principle. Like they moved from Houston. The throwbacks should belong to the Texans. Like, yes, they're the same franchise, but you got to leave the history in Houston. Like, I would be so pissed if the Sonics came back and like let's say the Sonics came back under a new name and then the Thunder started wearing Sonics throwback uniforms. I would actually like start protesting in the streets. Number 8, another Saints uniform, but this one is the throwback uniforms with like the black jersey, the gold helmet, and the gold pants that don't match.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That's just like such a weird oversight. Like, how does that even happen? That's ugly. Number 7, I've got the Rams off-white alternate uniforms, you know, like the cream ones.
Yeah.
They just look weird. They just look like dirty. Especially because like it would be okay if they didn't also have a white uniform, but like when you mostly watch them with the white uniform and then you see them with the creams, it's very weird. It just looks like they didn't do laundry. Number 6 is the 49ers alternate throwback uniforms. They're just cringe. That's all I have to say about that. Just cringe. Number 5 is the 49ers away uniforms, like the white ones.
Okay.
They're also just cringe. just not a good colorway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 4 is the 49ers home uniforms.
Oh, I'm sensing a theme.
Another really poor one. I just don't like any of those 3 jerseys that I just mentioned. They're just cringe. They're mostly associated with like tryhards. Number 3 is the Jets base away uniforms. I think.
Thank you. Yeah, the Jets uniforms suck.
They're not good. They're not good. And what's unfortunate about it is that the throwbacks they wore, a few weeks ago, I think it was on Monday Night Football, are super nice, and they're not even that old. Like, they switched away from those in like 2017, and that's like a really nice jersey set. If you look at like photos of Jamal Adams when he played for the Jets, he looked so cool in those jerseys. Like, the striping is really nice. It's really classic. Now, like their last jersey set and the one that they just switched to, like, it just feels like the whole time they're just overcompensating, like, for being the little brother in New York. I don't like it. Number 2 is the Eagles blackout uniforms, both the fully black one and like the white one that they wore in Brazil with the black helmet. The Eagles are green. It's just weird. And number 1, I also had the Falcons alternate gradient uniforms. Yeah. So apparently these might actually be retired. Arthur Blank went on a radio show before the season and said they wouldn't be wearing them at all this year. But they are like technically still in the Falcons uniform set database. So
yeah, they got to fire whoever
that was
created
that. That was poor. And
the whole department, let them go.
Yeah, I would say like just the Falcons should probably just switch to their throwbacks full time because that's obviously their nicest uniform.
They wore them 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's obviously their nicest uniform. All right, we're going to segue into our next segment. This one is going to be player stats, this and that. Actually, before we do so, we have a text in the text inbox. This one says, who is bringing the boom this Sunday football?
What do we like pick a team that's going to bring the boom?
Well, you can pick a team, a player, a coach. Who do you think is going to bring the boom?
Obviously, I'm a Saints fan. News broke today that Derek Carr will be playing on Sunday, so I think he's going to come in fresh off his injury. Missing Rashid Shaheed, obviously, but Olave's back. Kamara playing through a bit of a hand injury, but I think Derek Carr is going to bring the boom this Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ernest Jones IV, new linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks. I think he is getting 3 booms in the boom meter. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you for the text. Once again, the text inbox number is 647-691-8432. As now we segue into our next segment, player stats, this or that. Caleb, you want to take it away? You want to go first?
Sure, I'll just kind of explain the segment a little bit.
Yeah, I did a bad job of that.
I'm going to give Max 2 player stat lines today. I'm doing basketball, and he has to pick, which player stat line he would rather have or which one he thinks is better. And then at the end, I'll reveal which player is which. So for today's version, I'm doing, player A, this is his stat line in his final year of college basketball. Player B, this is his stat line in his final year of basketball in Australia's league.
Those aren't equivalent.
Well, semi.
Okay.
They're both non-pro.
Okay, fine.
It's their final years before they got drafted is what I'm going with. So player A, in his final year of NCAA basketball, put up 4.8 points, 2 assists, and I'll simplify, 5 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds in the NCAA.
Okay.
Player B had 8 points, half an assist, 7 rebounds, and a block in the NBL.
And so I have to choose which player is better.
Which player, based off this stat line, do you prefer?
Can you tell me the assists and rebounds for player A again?
2 and 3.
I mean, like, it's really the battle of mid. Like,
It really is.
What's the minute? What are our minutes looking like?
Player A, about... player B, I can tell you, was 18. Player B had like 18 minutes, played like 30 games. Player A, I didn't think you were wanting this in-depth research from me. Player A was playing he played 25 games on that stat line, and he was playing about 20 minutes a game. So they played about this similar amount of minutes.
Okay, I'll take Player A is not Bronny, is it?
No, player A is Bronny.
Okay.
Yes.
It is Bronny.
Yeah.
Then I'm taking
Yeah.
player A.
Well, yeah, player A is Bronny, who was the 55th pick. Player B is Ariel Huckporty, who was the 58th pick. He was the last pick in the draft. Currently a center for the Knicks, has played one more NBA game than Bronny has. And he's actually, done something with his minutes.
What do you mean?
I don't think he's scored, but he's got a couple rebounds, a block here and there.
Bronny scored.
Well,
Tell me something.
yeah.
Does the team with the most blocks win the game?
Historically, likely.
Does the team with the most rebounds win the game?
Historically, likely.
Does the team with the most points win the game?
Almost every time.
Every time. And who among these two has more points in the NBA?
Does preseason count? Because
No.
Ariel
No,
dropped
no,
8 in
no,
the preseason.
No, preseason doesn't count.
Then technically Bronny.
There you go. All right, moving on. I have two NFL quarterbacks for you. I'm going to give you their stats here. They're
From
not
this season?
from this season, just
Okay.
this season. They're not actually. They haven't played the same amount of games because one of these quarterbacks has already had his bye week. But
Okay.
the first quarterback A, has a completion percentage of 68.
Okay.
They've thrown for 236 yards per game. They have 8 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's good for a passer rating of about 85. 34 rush attempts for about 139 yards. That's good for 4.1 yards per attempt. Now, quarterback B, 69% completion percentage, 275 passing yards per game, 8 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a passer rating of about 88, 30 rush attempts for 177 yards, and that is good for about 5.9 yards per attempt. Which quarterback are you taking?
Now, these stat lines feel very similar. And, when I look at quarterbacks, I want quarterbacks that can protect the football, that aren't going to be giving it away, because you can't score points if you don't have the ball, usually. So because of the touchdown interception ratio, that's mainly what I'm basing this off of. I'm going to go with player B. But I think I know who player A is.
Who is player A?
Is player A Mahomes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you know who player B is?
I have no idea.
It's Geno.
Wow.
You have just picked Geno Smith over Patrick Mahomes. You heard it here, folks. Caleb Sebastian prefers Geno Smith to Patrick Mahomes. Do you have anything to say about that? Any reflection? Have these stats opened your eyes about Geno's efficacy so far this season?
I think it has more so to do
Effectiveness.
with how bad Mahomes is playing to start the season. You said more interceptions than touchdowns?
Yep. 8 to 9.
Yeah, that's
Not the
never
best.
never a good sign of a quarterback.
It's really not.
But hey, look at the team records. Which one of them is really winning?
All right. We're going to segue. Before we get to Hawk Talk and Rider Talk, we are going to do a segment that I'm going to call We Are Obviously Trying to Go Viral on Short Form Social Media. So, Caleb,
Yeah.
I have a trivia question for you.
Oh.
Can you name the only 3 major 4 sports team logos? That's NHL, NFL, MLB, and NBA. Can you name the only 3 logos that are smiling?
That are smiling?
Smiling. The primary logo.
Wow. That is difficult. Am I timed?
We'll give you a minute.
Okay. Do I get unlimited guesses?
Yes, yeah, you get unlimited guesses.
Okay.
Hold on, let me set up the timer. Ready, set, go.
Jaguars,
Not smiling.
Mavericks,
Not smiling.
Patriots,
Nope.
Celtics.
Yes. Ding ding ding.
Yes.
That's one. That's one.
I'm trying to think of people. The Browns elf.
That's not the primary.
Dang it. Oh God. The Timberwolves.
Nope.
The Senators.
Nope. Stoic.
The Penguins.
Nope.
The Canucks.
No.
The
I'll tell you one NHL, one MLB.
Predators.
No.
Coyotes.
No. Doesn't exist, by the way.
MLB.
Yeah.
Oh God, the Blue Jays.
No.
Oh, Orioles.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
That's two.
Okay, now NHL. Not the Golden Knights, not the Kraken, the Sharks.
No.
He's biting a hockey stick. Doesn't count as a smile. Not the Leafs because that's just a leaf.
You're out of time.
Dang it. Who do we have?
The final smiling logo is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should have got that.
It's like a light smirk, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a smile.
2 for 3. That's 66%. That's a pass.
That is a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's better,
Most of my grades this semester.
better than your current mark in RTA
Well,
231.
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Currently at a 60.
Yeah, I'm at a 13% in that class, so much better than mine as well. All right, let's segue into Hawk Talk and Rider Talk.
Should I just turn off my mic for the next 5 minutes?
Caleb and I are each going to get an opportunity to talk about our favorite football teams for, a little bit without the other person derailing it. So, Caleb, since I directed the last segment, you can start. I will try not to interrupt.
I can start
you
with
can
Hawk
start,
Talk?
you can start with Rider Talk.
Oh,
You can
what
do
if I
Rider.
wanted to do Hawk Talk?
Okay. If you want to talk about the Seahawks, I'm not going to talk about the Riders
Oh, why not?
because I don't want to. I don't know anything about the Riders.
Okay.
I can only name the players that you're like always raging about.
Yeah. That's most of the team.
AJ Ouellette.
Yeah. Why is he always injured? Exactly.
Is this Rider Talk?
I guess I can start. What do I want to talk about with the Riders? Well, big playoff game coming up tomorrow against your BC Lions at home. This is their first playoff game since 2021 as they missed the playoffs the past 2 years. Thoughts going into the game? I'm worried because Vernon Adams is the starter here in BC now, and that one game that he had against us threw for 450 yards, like 4 touchdowns. He absolutely lit us up with Justin McInnis. Our secondary couldn't do anything to stop him, so I'm definitely worried about that. The depth chart has been released for the Riders, and AJ Ouellette and Raquel Armstead were both listed at the running back position, which is a first for the season. They have never played in the same game together this season. Of course, Rock Armstead being signed midway through the season by the Riders. So I like that as, it will open up the passing lanes for Trevor Harris. BC's secondary isn't the greatest in the league, but their run defense has been pretty solid. Their defensive line is getting to the quarterback, getting sacks. So I think having that 1-2 punch of Ouellette and Armstead is really going to make the Lions play disciplined and play a little bit further back from the line, not have as many guys in the box. So I think that's really going to help the Riders out. And then, I think just can Trevor Harris do what he does best, and that's deliver the ball, not turn it over. He's not a mobile quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. The man is almost 40 years old. So as long as the offensive line can hold up, give him time in the pocket, give him time to throw the ball. Our receiver group has been banged up with injuries all year, but they're a really resilient group. I think chances of winning this game, I think, are high as long as the Riders can defend Vernon Adams' run pass game. If Vernon Adams gets going and he really gets moving his legs and he starts slinging the ball 20, 30 yards downfield, the Riders are going to be in trouble, and I don't think they're going to be able to bounce back from that game. So as long as the defense can contain Adams, I don't think the offense should have any problems. I'm gonna do a score prediction. I'll say 33-24 Saskatchewan wins.
Is that all you have to say?
That's been Rider Talk.
Okay. Now it's time for Hawk Talk. Feel free to chime in if you want. Caleb and I do live in the same apartment, so he does get to watch a lot of Seahawks games.
A lot of
just
Seahawks.
because I have it on, and I get very emotional about it. So the Seahawks play the Los Angeles Rams this week after getting destroyed 31-10 by the Buffalo Bills last Sunday. Injury report came out about 45 minutes ago. DK Metcalf will be out for this game. Noah Fant also out for this game. Abraham Lucas, the right tackle, he will be out, although they weren't expecting him to come back until the bye week. And all of a sudden, Ernest Jones, who I predicted would bring the boom. He's questionable, so if he can't play, that is a big issue in the boom department. Listen, this has been a nightmare season, to be honest, for the Seahawks. They're 4-4, which on its face seems fine, but based on their trajectory, you would want them to look a whole lot better than they have. They haven't taken a step toward like competing with contenders like you maybe thought they would have. And you expected that same step last season in the final season under Pete Carroll, and it just never came. They were never on par with the top teams in the NFL. And you hope this season, okay, we've replaced all the coaches. We've got a good roster. Hopefully this is the year we take that leap. And we saw last Sunday it just didn't happen. And now all of a sudden you're facing a Los Angeles Rams team that has Puka Nacua back. Maybe he might be out. It looks like he's going to be questionable. Cooper Kupp is back, though, and it's a team that's really starting to round into form in the NFC West, and you just catch them at the absolute worst possible time. So if you're the Seahawks, this game is approaching must-win territory with how the division is shaping up so far. You need to be able to keep pace with the 49ers, who play the bye week this week. The 49ers are on the bye, so
Terrifying opponent.
yeah, it is. I can actually guarantee to everybody listening right now, the 49ers will not lose this weekend, as sad as it is to say. So, must-win territory. All eyes are going to be on the Seahawks' run defense, which has really, really struggled so far this season. The Bills just absolutely exposed them. I mean, it felt like every single run was going between 5 and 10 yards. The front seven was just completely disconnected. It was just a disaster all around. It was super depressing to watch. So what is defensive guru Mike Macdonald going to do about that? It's hard to say, because it's not like this was a new problem. You know, we knew this was an issue going into the Buffalo game, and still they just got completely carved on the ground. So I don't know. This could be basically the end of the season before it even started if it's another disappointing blowout performance against the Rams. But it's also an opportunity for the Seahawks to get right against a team that's really had their number in the Pete Carroll era, or at least since Sean McVay came around. So as always with Seahawks games, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm dreading having to watch it. But I think they have a chance. The current spread is -1 for the Rams. It's a home game for the Seahawks. By the way, if anybody wants to go to this game, my mom is selling tickets, $550 USD all in if you want to go. So let me know. You can actually text our text inbox, and I'll connect you with her. But to conclude, I hate sports. I don't want to watch this game, but it's a good opportunity. Thoughts?
I'm also not looking forward to it. He gets very angry, very loud. He yells at me.
I don't yell at you.
It's not a good look.
I do bang my fists against the coffee table and sometimes into the couch.
Yeah.
You missed it last game.
Oh no.
I was by myself. Nobody actually witnessed this, so I'm kind of exposing myself. But the play where Josh Allen drops the ball when he's scrambling and he kicks it forward between two Seahawks defenders, and the Bills,
I heard a lot of yelling.
Bills pick up
I was there.
10 yards. No, you were in the bathroom,
Yeah.
I think. I turned around and I just started punching the couch. I
saw
couldn't
that.
believe-
I saw
Did you?
that. Yeah.
Okay. That was very
I didn't want to
upsetting.
say anything because I was worried it would be me next. So
Yeah, I mean, that was not fun. Nor is watching Seahawks football ever. So this has been Hawk Talk. Our next segment is another one where you get to hear Caleb's voice exclusively, and that is Dumb CFL Moment of the Week.
I actually have two
Okay.
for this week.
Yeah.
So my first one is going to come last Saturday when the Riders faced the Calgary Stampeders in an absolutely, and I cannot emphasize this enough, meaningless football game, okay? The Bombers had already secured first place in the West. The Riders had already secured second place in the West. They were playing for absolutely nothing. The Stampeders were already secured the number 1 overall pick with the worst record in the league. Both teams were playing for absolutely nothing. So what do the Riders do? They bring in their backup, Shea Patterson, for the first half of football. And then for the second half of football, they bring in former Notre Dame quarterback Jack Cohn for his first ever CFL action. And listen, he didn't play bad. He didn't turn the ball over, which positive in my book. He scored a touchdown, another positive in my book. Did they win the game? No. Did Rider fans go on Twitter and complain that this team has no heart or soul? Absolutely. Guys, it doesn't matter. The game didn't matter whatsoever. They're still going to host the West Semi. Let it go. They played Jack Cohn at quarterback. They didn't play a single starter in any skill position. Their oldest receiver had like 4 years of CFL experience. It didn't matter. Let it go. Second dumb thing to happen this week, I believe it was yesterday or Wednesday, that they announced the finalists for the CFL awards this season. The MOP at this point, so MOP stands for Most Outstanding Player. Let's just call it what it is. It's not the most outstanding player. It's the most outstanding offensive player. Because from the West, you had running back Brady Oliveira, who, like, for him, had a good season. He didn't have an amazing season. He didn't score a touchdown till like week 7. And then out of the West, you had Bo Levi Mitchell, who, yeah, he threw for like 5,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. He also threw 18 interceptions, and his team missed the playoffs by 2 games. Neither of them had like super, super good seasons by their standards. Bo Levi Mitchell had a better season than Oliveira. You know who had really, really good seasons? Defensive back Roland Milligan Jr. for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and linebacker Tyrese Beverett for the Montreal Alouettes. If this were truly the Most Outstanding Player award, both those guys would be up. Instead, they're up for Most Outstanding Defensive Player because the MOP is now the MOOP because there's been one defensive player to win it, and that was BC's Solomon Alamimian in 2011.
Cameron Wake didn't win?
Cameron Wake did not win, no, because it's Most Outstanding Offensive Player.
Didn't he get like 40 sacks in a season?
Not that high,
Okay.
but he was good.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was. All right. Now it's time for the the
Titular?
segment.
Yeah.
The hot seat.
Yes. I'm going to put you on the hot seat first.
I'm going on the hot seat first.
I've already been on the hot
We're
seat.
gonna
It's your
share-
turn.
Did you do this last week?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Do
What
you
was-
not tune into our shows?
I didn't listen.
My-
I'm not gonna
my,
lie. I watched myself broadcasting over and over again.
You did, I can confirm. My hot take last time I was on the hot seat was that the Detroit Pistons will make the play-in.
Okay. That doesn't feel that hot. Like
Lucky really thought that was a hot take.
you just have to be like a top
10.
10 team
Yeah,
in the conference.
which
There's
they
15
might
teams.
not be.
Okay. All right. Well, this week, my hot take is Jerry Rice is one of the biggest cheaters in sports history.
Elaborate.
So in 2015, Jerry Rice admitted that he used Stickum.
I love Stickum, by the way. I used to play handball.
This is perfect. This is
I
perfect.
used to play
You can-
handball, and they would let us use Stickum.
I'm very happy that you're familiar with
Love
Stickum.
Stickum.
So it's a substance that makes balls easier to catch. It's super sticky. It's much stickier than gloves, right?
I would put up my hand, and if somebody could hit my hand with the ball, it would stick.
So it's completely different than what NFL players are using today. Football gloves are far less sticky, and that's something you can confirm as a fellow Stickum user.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
and Jerry.
Hey, mine was legal.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you're a cheater.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're a fellow Stickum user. Only Jerry's a cheater here. But to me, that delegitimizes his entire career.
You know what? That's you. I feel like there's a point. Who's the guy that like just had Stickum all over his jersey?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
don't know
though?
what you're talking
There's a picture of a guy, and like his jersey's just covered in Stickum.
So Jerry Rice used Stickum for his whole career. What would his stat line look like over the course of his career if he wasn't blatantly cheating every time he hit the field? I'm saying it would be a lot worse. I think that Stickumgate with Jerry Rice, who actually admitted his wrongdoing, should be a bigger deal than Deflategate ever was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Deflategate was for a Super Bowl.
Yes and no. I mean, it did get them into the Super Bowl, but they dominated that game anyway.
True.
It was Like, yes, the Patriots did probably cheat, and they probably deserve some sort of punishment, but I don't think anybody is really going to say that the outcome of that game would be different. I think you could easily say that the outcome of certain 49ers games, the outcome of Jerry Rice's career, could have been completely different if he wasn't blatantly cheating throughout.
I think that's fair, yeah.
So the last point that I'll make is that Steve Largent
Who?
is much superior.
Is this a Seahawks receiver?
Well, I mean, he's one of the greatest receivers in NFL history for a long time. He held the receiving yards record.
What
he held
year?
the receptions record. Yes, he did play for the Seahawks,
What
which is really
years?
just, I mean, that's not relevant at all.
The
to me.
years?
The years, I don't know, like
Oh.
the 80s.
Okay.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
But he didn't cheat, so
Well, you don't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my take for this week. It seems like you mostly agree, so
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I'm a big fan of Stickum in like general.
yeah.
In the NFL, not so much. In the NBA, even less.
Do people use it in the NBA?
Dwight Howard used Stickum in the NBA and he got caught.
Okay.
And he said he liked it because it gave him like a little bit of extra grip on the ball. But people were like, "Why do you're throwing it? Like you're not catching the ball. Why do you need Stickum?" He liked it. Yeah, big Stickum guy. I like your take.
Thank you. You're on the hot seat now.
I am, yes. Sticking with the NFL, and I feel like you're gonna have an opinion on this.
Oh, good.
You might not. I don't know. My hot take for this week is Joe Flacco will lead the Colts to a playoff berth this season. The Indianapolis Colts are currently one spot out of the wild card. They sit at 4-4. The team above them sits at 4-3, thanks to the bye week. Their 4 losses are to the Texans twice, which isn't a good look. The Jags once, also not a good look. The Packers once, which is fine. Flacco, since taking over, whenever he plays instead of Richardson, 2-1. With the one loss being by 3 points, he has a touchdown to interception ratio of 7-1. Jonathan Taylor's back, which means he can lean on the run game more. And my final point, which I think is really the sticking point of this argument, is 6 out of their last 7 games, Jets, Patriots, Broncos, Titans, Giants, Jaguars to end the season.
Yeah, so
That is 6 very winnable games for the Indianapolis Colts.
you are kind of burying the lead there, which is that their next 4 games are the Vikings, Bills, Jets, and Lions.
Listen,
which
hey, if they can get through those 4 games with a 1 win,
I think that they have a very good chance of going 0-4 in that 4-game stretch. And if they do so, all of a sudden they're 4-8 and they have to win 5 games in a row to even have a chance at the playoffs. So I disagree.
their bye week's in there somewhere too.
I disagree on their bye week is actually. Where is their bye week?
It's like I think it's between the Jets and the Patriots.
It's between the Patriots and the Broncos. So they
Okay,
don't get
yeah,
it.
so they're-
they don't get it until like the demon stretch is over.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying is their bye week is in their easy stretch, which makes winning 5 games in a row even more feasible.
I don't see it, and it's on. I disagree with your take on multiple grounds. First of all, I don't think that if they do make the playoffs, it's going to be because of Joe Flacco. It'll be more in spite of him. Like he's one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL, realistically, at this point in his career.
7 touchdowns to 1 interception in 3 games.
He might be more efficient than Anthony Richardson at this point, but he is still one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL.
He's winning games.
Why do you think-
It's not like his defense.
Why do you think no one wanted to sign him?
Because he's 50.
Exactly, because he sucks. So I disagree.
It's not like his defense is helping him out.
This isn't like the most blasphemous take ever. Like it could technically happen, and there is a little bit of firepower on that offense, but
And it's not like he has to do it all up by himself. If he's having a terrible game, you just hand the ball off to Taylor 20 times.
I don't see it happening because they're not going to win the division. The Texans will 100% win that division.
The Texans just lost to the Jets.
They're still going to win the division because they're 6-3. They're
Okay, but
already
who
2 games
do
up.
you have? Who do you have in the wild card over them? The Broncos. Come on.
One of the Ravens and Steelers, whoever loses the AFC North,
Okay.
is going to make the
There's
wild
still
card.
two other spots. It's not the Broncos.
The Jets could make a charge at that playoff spot.
Yeah.
I think there is a chance there. If the Jets beat the Colts,
That really hurts the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think the Broncos could make a play for that spot. The Chargers could definitely make a play for that spot. These are all the teams that I think are more likely to get the wild card than the Colts. The Jets,
Okay.
the Broncos, the Chargers, the Ravens or Steelers, whoever loses that division, and that's it. So I think there's a few teams,
Yeah.
4 teams that
Yeah.
I think are more likely to make the wild card. So your take sucks. You're fired. You're off the hot seat. You're fired.
What?
You're, well, you know, like the hot seat. It's like a
Oh.
term for
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that was that bad. We'll wait and see.
We will wait and see.
Yeah.
But you know, we're gonna come back a few weeks from now.
And the
Actually,
Colts, the Colts are going to be 7-4.
We're gonna be able to see. We're not gonna be able to see the result until we return next semester
True.
for our first show, which will be in like late February.
Yeah.
And then I think we should spend the first 15 minutes of that show just dunking on you.
Okay.
You can't dunk on me, you know, a few months from now about Jerry Rice being a fraud,
Unless it comes out that like he actually didn't use Stickum.
which would be weird.
Yeah.
I think that's actually far less likely than
Yeah.
the Colts.
Do you know what one of my professors dropped on us mid-class? She was talking about something, and then she goes, "Yeah, I was having dinner with Jerry Rice."
Jerry, what was he eating?
She didn't say.
Jerry
The
eating
moral
rice,
of the
like
story.
bad?
The moral of the story was that like so many people came up to him and asked him to sign things, and somebody came up with a stack of cards for him to sign, and he sat there and he signed every single one of them.
Collectors are crazy. Like,
Yeah.
collectors are crazy. We stay at the same hotel as the Seahawks when we go down to Seahawks games. The Seahawks stay at a hotel the night before home games for team meetings and stuff. And the last time we were there was a collector in the lobby, and he actually seemed like a pretty nice guy. Like, he brought gifts for all the players in exchange for them signing stuff. Like, he brought them, you know, stuff from their alma maters, which was kind of cool. And he also lent me a pen so that Reek Woolen could sign my jersey.
What
But
color?
black.
Okay.
I'm sure he had black and silver like ready to go, but they're crazy. Like they're very dedicated.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So to wrap up, it is Halloween weekend. Halloween was yesterday. Caleb, what was your costume this year?
I hate Halloween. I despise dressing up. I think it's stupid. So I did not dress up this year. I did watch a very good movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Love that movie. Watch it every year on Halloween. Max, what did I feel like you're teeing me up to tell me what you dressed up for Halloween?
Well, I'm not teeing you up for anything. I didn't have like the greatest costume ever. I mean, it was good. I was Woody from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Emma, my girlfriend, she was Bo Peep. We've got more in the tank.
Oh, you have more?
We have more.
Wow.
We have Canucks player and Stanley Cup.
Who's who?
What do you think?
You're the Stanley Cup.
No.
Oh,
She has like a silver top,
okay.
and I'm gonna be just wearing a Canucks jersey.
Yeah.
I think we also maybe
You got to get that. You got to get like eye.
eye black.
Yeah.
Have
get
you
eye-
ever
get some
seen
eye
a hockey
black.
player wearing eye black?
No, but like you can be the first. Set the trend.
I've seen it
Okay.
in the Winter Classic. I think Sidney Crosby did it.
There you go.
Sidney Crosby eye black Winter Classic. I want to see if this is true. Yep. Maybe not. He wore it practicing. I don't think he actually wore it during the game.
What does that? What does it do?
What does it do?
Is it for the sun?
Well, you know, black absorbs light.
Yeah. So it's for the sun.
Yeah, the idea is
Okay.
that it makes things less bright. I'm not sure if there's any scientific basis behind that. We know athletes are superstitious guys. They believe a lot of pseudoscience, like John Tavares and, you know, all the guys that do cupping,
Yeah.
acupuncture. It's like some real nonsense. Don't do cupping. Cupping. This
Not
is one
good.
thing.
I see you got those like big welts
No.
on your
It's
back.
not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. And I know this because my dad's a doctor,
Okay.
and he's always making fun of people who cup.
Okay.
Like McDavid, or maybe it was someone in the NHL documentary was doing cupping, and he was like, "What an idiot! The Oilers don't listen to science." We have 20 seconds left in the show.
Yeah.
So we should wrap up here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the second episode of The Hot Seat. From Max Purdon and my
Caleb
co-host,
Sebastian.
Caleb Sebastian, from Spirit Live and from Toronto Metropolitan University, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you all same time next week, Friday at 4. Goodbye.